your wife and her mother is that they are mirroring each other in ways the other doesn't know about the other. So when your wife is looking at this situation and how she sees it from her perspective with her mother, she doesn't want to admit this to anybody, even with herself, that she sees a lot of herself in her mom or vice versa. And that's very uncomfortable because it's almost like your wife seeing your mother deteriorate is getting your wife to look ahead to the future and wonder, am I going to be like this am I going to have to go through this exact same situation, this exact same scenario? Because it's, you and your wife both have really big hearts, but you overextend yourself for the other, and you're both very duty drawn. You care so much about, like, what is my role, what do I ought to do, what do people expect of me, and how can I maintain those expectations is so central. It's like a main theme in your relationship. Even before you guys were dating, I feel like you knew each other for a little bit before you were dating, and
About 3 years.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what drew you as friends too, was that you have that commitment and she has that commitment. You're both like, wow, you have a big heart. Yeah, you do too. Wow, that's great. It's very, that's the positive spin. That's the beautiful part of it. But then as you spend more and more time with each other, you start to see things creep up through the woodwork, and it's like, oh, well, that can sometimes be negative because we don't know where to really draw the line, and we both feel so accountable for crap that other people go through that affects us as well. So you're like, everybody's got to feel good or nobody's going to feel good, and you include yourself in that group. So there's that kind of toxic dynamic going on a little bit right now that your wife is getting super triggered on because she doesn't really have anybody to blame, because it feels so close to home, because it's something she has within her too, that the nut doesn't fall too far from the tree kind of thing. So big time mirror stuff, more so with these two women than with you. But for
I'm
you,
just a mirror cleaner.
well, yeah, but that's where your journey comes into play too, because it's like you've got your soul, you've got what you need and what you want and what your aspirations are beyond what you can provide for, or beyond what your ego may tell you are. You're beyond that. There's more to it than meets the eye, so to speak. And that's really where these sessions come into play. Because I know you, Mr. Cancer, I'm a Cancer rising. We always try to, like, we don't even realize we do it sometimes, but it's like when we bring up stuff that we feel, we always want to tie it to some significant thing or person that we're feeling it for, or what it's about, instead of just, hey, you on your own, Mr. Crabman, what are you feeling, without getting into why or how or whatever. Like, what's actually just there raw for us to work with. And that's where I think cancers in general, but you specifically, are kind of uncomfortable touching, because for you, all of your transformation in life that you've gone through has always had to have some form of higher purpose or meaning, and then it justifies it, right? whereas
Okay.
whereas now you're kind of being challenged, where it's like you're looking at yourself thinking, well, why should I feel this way? I don't really have an excuse or a reason to feel 5 ounces of hatred in this moment, or 6 pounds of sadness in this week, or something like that. You try to, like, weigh it or balance it and scale it. It almost feels like, to me.